So there was recently an article that came out either from Eddie Hearn or Anthony Joshua saying where Anthony Joshua's next fight, he may not be headlining the event. Now, that is absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. Anthony Joshua is still Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is one of the biggest names in British boxing, one of the biggest names in world boxing. Yes, he's been outclassed twice by Usyk. Yes, he's been stopped by Dubois. Yes, he was stopped by Andy Ruiz. He's still a huge name in the UK. Now, Anthony Joshua probably will never sell out Wembley or Tottenham Hotspur Stadium again unless he's fighting Tyson Fury. But that's not to say he can't comfortably do many of the big arenas around the UK and definitely capable of headlining the O2 again. So Anthony Joshua is definitely still a headline act, and if that's coming from Anthony Joshua, I don't like that as a sense of you're seeing where his confidence is at. If his confidence is so shot to bits that he feels like the only sort of option he has, or like the safest option, is just for him to no longer be a headliner and just to take a easy undercard fight. Fuck that, man. AJ's better than that, is what I'm saying. Anthony Joshua is a better boxer than that. He's still at world level and could headline tomorrow at the O2. There's still a lot of names. Say, even if that Gerald Miller fight was to happen, if that fight was to materialise, I would favour Anthony Joshua in that fight, but that fight definitely sells up the O2 with all that history that's there. Hell of a story that can be told with that. Even if he's to fight the likes of a Makhmudov just headlined in Sheffield. Obviously, nobody was there to see Makhmudov fight, but Makhmudov's now a guy with a lot of momentum. AJ v Makhmudov is definitely headlining the O2 Arena. Easily. So I don't know why this sort of idea that he shouldn't be a headliner anymore, or he doesn't want to headline anymore. Anthony Joshua needs to headline shows. I don't want to hear he doesn't want to be a headline, doesn't want that pressure. Bro, you're at this level now. You're world level. You've been at world level for better part of a decade. Get used to it. Like, how is he not used to it by this point? Like I said, dude's literally been at world level for 10 years. Like, he's more comfortable at world level than he should be at anything below world level. He's not a guy who's just sort of made it. Still a ton of names for him to fight at heavyweight. I know for Anthony Joshua, he's probably not a guy who really wants to take a lot of those fights. And to be honest, I say that. It's Eddie Hearn that probably doesn't want to take these fights. It's Eddie Hearn that probably wants to try and rebuild Anthony Joshua. But it gets to a point where dude's old, he's past it. How many rebuild jobs are you going to have? Now, how many keep busy fights are you going to have? Throw him back into the Wolves. If we want to see if this guy's really back at world level, throw him into the Wolves. You know what I mean? He had back-to-back losses against Usyk. But let's see, man. And he's lost to Daniel Dubois now. But let's see, man. Anthony Joshua, let's see what you got, man. Let's see what you got left in the tank. Of course, everyone wants to see that Tyson Fury fight. That's what we all want to see. But will that fight ever get made? We don't know. Because Tyson Fury keeps retiring. The fight's on, then the fight's off. You never know what's going to happen. Until contracts are signed and both men are in the ring, I can never assume that fight's going to happen. No matter what reports I hear, no matter what talks I hear about going on, I just will never have the confidence that fight's actually getting made until both guys are quite literally in the ring with one another. So yeah. But like I said, there's still tons of opponents out there. Tony Yoka, Makhmudov, Jerome Miller. These guys, Anthony Joshua is never going to main event a Tottenham Hotspur Stadium or Wembley Stadium fighting those guys. Again, like I said, he can main event O2 all day long against those level fighters. All day long, in my opinion. And then, say if Wardley was to beat Joseph Parker, then Wardley fights Usyk, Joseph Parker v AJ too. Now that's a fight that would set up the O2 in a flash. Is that fight big enough for a stadium fight? Because the first fight was so boring, I wouldn't fancy it as a stadium fight. Even though that's two world level heavyweights going at it. Struggle to see that actually being a good stadium fight. It probably is better suited to the O2. So Anthony Joshua could set up the O2 another 3 or 4 times before he retires. So I don't want to hear any of this. I don't want to headline. I want to be on the undercard type talk from Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn ever again. But yeah, I'd be curious to know what you guys think of Anthony Joshua. Now, I'm saying all of this. I'm not even a huge Anthony Joshua fan like that. I don't think he's that amazing of a boxer. I think there's been guys much better than him at heavyweight. He's not an all-time heavyweight great or anything. But he's a guy who's very good. And he's done the best with what he had. That's what he's done. He's done the best with what he had. Now, he was muscle-bound. He was decently powerful, decently quick. But wasn't a tremendously talented boxer. But he showed up. He dedicated his life to the sport. He won world championships, and it wasn't always pretty. He wasn't always the best guy to watch. Wasn't always the best. Like I said, he wasn't always the best guy to watch. Certainly not the best guy to always hear talk. But a very talented athlete. A very talented athlete. Now, like I said, an all-timer. No, he's not an all-timer. But a talented heavyweight athlete will go down as a very good heavyweight champion. Of course, not in the likes of Tyson Fury or Lennox Lewis or any of these guys. But I mean, give Anthony Joshua credit where it's due. You know, a multi-time heavyweight champion, unified the division, held more than one belt at once. You know, you got to give Anthony Joshua some respect. But yeah, I say all that to say, let me know what you guys think of Anthony Joshua. Where do you think his career is heading? And what do you think's next for him as well, in terms of next opponents, in terms of how he sort of matches up? Let me know what you guys think. Another episode of the Seth Solo Cyclist in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.